Hunt 'em Big with Steve Bartylla. Brought to you by
You know, we all practice to make that shot when it counts. And that's critically important. And the more we go ahead and cater our practice techniques specifically for hunting in the real world rather than shooting in 3D tournaments in the backyard, that type of stuff, the better off we are. And then we go ahead and hopefully we all think very, very carefully before we take that shot. But I hate to tell you, Murphy's Law applies. And anybody who tells you that they've never wounded a deer, well, they tend to fall in one of three categories. Either they're lying, they absolutely suck as a hunter, or they don't hardly hunt much. If you hunt a lot, eventually, I'm sorry, it's probably going to happen. But we can go ahead and eliminate, make up for a lot of Murphy's Laws as long as we take tracking seriously, approach it in a logical and analytical approach, and we are so much better off. That begins with really truly analyzing that shot. And by that, I don't mean overthinking the snot out of it. I can't speak for anybody else, but the more and more and more I sit there and think and replay, you know what? Quite honestly, the more I let little voices impact me and believe in things that just weren't the case. Trust your initial reaction. Your initial belief, your initial impression is, at least for me, so much more accurate than the more you think it through. I'm not telling you not to think. Please think it through. But if you're confident that you drilled that animal right behind the front shoulder and you double lunged it, odds are extremely good you did. If you're confident that you gut punched that animal, odds are extremely good that you did. If you're confident you hit it in the liver, you get the point. Your initial impression is almost always the most accurate. At least that plays out for me. So trust that initial impression and then think, pause and think. Not about the shot, but okay, I hit that animal in this location. Where do I believe it's going to go? How fast do I believe it's going to perish? When it comes to something like a gut shot, you really want to leave it a good 12 hours if you can. Okay, liver shot, you want to give it a solid 2 for sure. 4 hours is definitely better. You know, the problem with liver and gut shots is people start tracking them too early, especially in the middle of the night. Now, when you have no chance at a follow-up shot, okay, you start tracking them too early and you end up bumping them. Now, very often that gut shot or that liver shot deer is going to run one more time, it's going to bed down again, and it's going to die there. But the problem is at this point, it's hardly bleeding. So now you just made your job so much harder. Instead, wait the appropriate time. If you heart shot it, if you double lung shot it, for the love of pepperoni pizza, feel free. You see it drop, feel free to go right away. I tend to give it 15 minutes no matter what. But if you believe you hit it in the liver, if you believe you hit it in the lungs, if you believe you had a muscle shot, there are people that are going to tell you to push that deer that's muscle shot. I go the reverse. I want to go ahead and, if possible, bring somebody with me to help with tracking, and I'm going to be actually stalking that deer with bow, gun, crossbow in hand, whichever weapon I'm hunting with for that season, and ready to take that follow-up shot. Because if you can leave them lay for 12 hours, they get so darn stiff they don't want to get up. And oftentimes you can get that other shot, that follow-up shot, and finish it off. Final thoughts, brought to you by Huntworth. Practicing like we hunt makes a huge difference in the success rates of our shots. Being extremely selective on our shot selection. Very important. Knowing our limitations, but things go wrong. And when things go wrong, trust the initial impression on the shot. Now, yes, look for blood and all that type of stuff. Inspect the arrow. If you're using a crossbow or a bow, all that good. And yeah, if that arrow smells like guts and you think you hit it in the lungs, well, guess what? You hit it in the guts. But until you have data that tells you otherwise, believe that initial impression on where that shot hit. Then think through what you're going to do. If it's a liver shot, if it's a muscle shot, if it's a gut shot, I'm leaving it 12 hours if I can. And then I'm actually stalking it while I have a buddy who is tracking that animal, trying to get a second shot. If you lose blood, just concentric circle the heck out of it. Just be as absolutely anal on this as you humanly possibly can. And your odds of finding that deer, if it's on that ground, are extremely good.